Welcome once again into my office and to our Bible study in Psalms. Psalm 75 is today's focus. And as I often say to you, I do a couple of these a week. And if you're following along, the idea is for you to take a couple days and just allow yourselves to just reflect on this psalm more than once. And just meditate on it and reflect on it. I'm going to read the whole psalm today. It's 10 verses, and then make a couple comments for you. We give praise to you, O God. We give thanks, for your name is near. Men tell of your wonderful deeds. You say, I choose the appointed time. It is I who judge uprightly. When the earth and all its peoples quake, it is I who hold its pillars firm. To the arrogant I say, boast no more, and to the wicked, do not lift up your horns. Do not lift up your horns against heaven. Do not speak with outstretched neck. No one from the east or the west or from the desert can exalt a man, but it is God who judges. He brings one down, he exalts another. In the hand of the Lord is a cup full of foaming wine mixed with spices. He pours it out, and all the wicked of the earth drink it down to its very dregs. As for me, I will declare this forever. I will sing praise to the God of Jacob. I will cut off the horns of all the wicked, but the horns of the righteous will be lifted up. Psalm 75 begins with praise. We give thanks to you, O God. Your name is near. That's a wonderful promise and thought. And we could take some time just to reflect on that. He's near. What a wonderful assurance to us to know that God is near. Now, in particular, we don't know the circumstances that is going on as Asaph writes this, but he's writing about judgment. I tend to think that he's writing sort of like in the day in which we live, where it just seems like the wicked are thriving. Seems like unrighteousness and immorality are being promoted and applauded. The righteous don't seem to be applauded. Righteous behavior just seems to be taken advantage of, particularly in many parts of the world where the godly are being martyred increasingly. So it just seems like, this is a psalm about the judgment of God coming upon the unrighteous. And so he begins it by just praising God for who he is and that he's near, even at a time when it just seems like unrighteousness is winning. And then he goes on in verse 2, I choose the appointed time. I'm going to judge uprightly. There is judgment coming, and that day will come. And he goes to the arrogant. He says, don't boast, because it's not about who man raises up. It's not who gets all the TV time, who gets applauded and who gets promoted and prospers in the sight of man. What matters is God who judges. He brings one down and he exalts another. And I think the implication there is that may be very different from what the world around us is doing. Those who the world is applauding, God may actually be bringing them down one day when he judges. He has a whole different set of standards, doesn't he? Now, I want to take a moment and look with you at the image in verse 8. It's a powerful image, and it's about a cup of God's wrath. You find it a little bit clearer, a little bit more in Isaiah and in Jeremiah. Isaiah chapter 51 and Jeremiah chapter 25. I would encourage you to go and read those passages. I'm going to read a little bit of Isaiah. Awake, rise up, O Jerusalem, you who have drunk from the hand of the Lord the cup of his wrath. You who have drained to its dregs the goblet that makes them stagger. Double calamities have come upon you. Your sons have fainted. They lie at the head of every street. They are filled with the wrath of the Lord and the rebuke of your God. Therefore hear this, you afflicted one, made drunk but not with wine. This is what the sovereign Lord says. I have taken out of your hand the cup that will make you stagger. the goblet of my wrath. You know, Jeremiah also talks about the image of this, the wrath of God being poured out on evil, on wickedness. There will be a day when God's wrath, Jeremiah and Isaiah talk about how Israel's going to be made to drink of it, and that's a reference to the destruction, to its being sent into exile, the destruction of Jerusalem and the exile. God's wrath being poured out upon Israel. We know that there is going to be a final judgment upon all mankind, and evil and wickedness will be judged, and they will be made to drink of this wine, this goblet, this cup of God's wrath. It's a wonderful image. That is a terrible image, a powerful image, but Jesus takes a different cup, doesn't he? And he takes a cup in his final meal with his disciples, and he says, "This cup, it was the cup of redemption, the third cup of the Passover meal." And he says, "This cup represents something new. It's about forgiveness, because Jesus drank of that cup. He drank of the fury of God's wrath. He took that upon himself, so that we don't have to. But the wicked will have to drink of that cup." And that's what the psalmist here is referring to. The hand of the Lord is this cup. It's foaming wine mixed with spices. He pours it out, and all the wicked are going to have to drink it down and taste the judgment, the destruction of God, taste the hatred of God toward evil. You know, and so there's this reminder. He starts with praise. He ends in, "As for me, I will declare this forever. I will sing praise. Because I know that he is going to cut off the horns, the strength. The horns means the strength of the wicked. The horns of the righteous. Righteousness will be lifted up. Wickedness will be destroyed." And so there's this praise, not for present circumstances, but praise for who God is. Praise that indeed there's this, that judgment is coming. He's going to lift up the righteous. He's going to bring down the wicked. And so that's an encouragement to us in this day where it just seems like wickedness is thriving, immorality is thriving. It's an invitation for us to come to Jesus and rejoice that judgment, we've been spared that judgment, and to praise God as the righteous judge. God bless.